Hello everyone, my name is Chase Hawking from UnionJackGaming, and if you're watching this on Fanbytes, hello, welcome to the show. If you like this video, obviously go over to my channel. I have loads more content for you and I'll be uploading throughout the year. And if you're watching this on my channel, hello again. I'd just like to say thank you to Jason and 3KB for allowing me to upload this video and to expand my subscriber base, and I really hope that this channel thrives. And now let's get into the review. Today I'll be reviewing The Darkness 2. That is a sequel to 2007's The Darkness that has been developed by Digital Extremes and released this month for Xbox 360, PS3 and PC. Okay, now let's get into the story of this game. Without giving too much away, I'm going to summarize it. Jackie Estacado, the main protagonist from the first game, is back, and his darkness powers are back with him. It takes place 2 years after the first game's events, and Jackie has used his powers since then to become the Don of the Franchetti family. Since becoming the Don of the family, he has enlisted a man called Johnny Powell, who isn't exactly the sanest of men, to help him keep the darkness at bay so it doesn't overcumber him and take over his body. But when a group of extremists known as the Brotherhood come attacking him at one of his restaurants and blow off one of his legs, Jackie is forced to embrace the darkness once more, to chase down the leader, only known as Victor, and to stop him from taking over the darkness. And on top of all this, Jackie sees visions and memories of his long dead girlfriend Jenny from the first game. He cannot explain why and is brinking on the depths of insanity. He also goes to this weird place that looks like an asylum that is like an alternate reality, and he cannot explain why. This is all intrigue built into the story, and I thought that it actually helped the story move along. It was interesting and you wondered where you was going to go next. There is many parts in the story where you won't be on Earth or in our reality, and that's what I love about these The Darkness games. They take you to places that you wouldn't expect to go in a first-person shooter. This is what Fear should have been. This game is really fun, the story is engaging, it gets better towards the end, and the ending leaves a cliffhanger for the third game. All I'm saying is watch after the credits. I wasn't disappointed with the story, albeit it was very short. I beat the game in about 6 hours, but I thought that was a nice, concise way to end it, because if it had been any longer, it would probably been full of padding, and it seems like it trimmed the fat of the first game and kept it nice and concise and kept the action and the story all nice and wrapped up like in a perfect package. The one thing I will say that I didn't like about the story was that the beginning was a little slow and it took a bit of a long time to pick up pace, but as soon as it did, I got engaged and I really wanted to figure out what happened in the end. This game's story isn't as good as the first game, but it's on par with most shooters out there and is definitely better than the Fear series. If you really want this game for story, I'd say it's well worth playing. Now we move on to the graphics. Now, in order to tell you what I think of the graphics, I'm going to compare them to the first Darkness game. Now, the first Darkness game, obviously the game had a dark feel to it, and the graphics showed that. I mean, it was dark, it was gritty, everything was realistic looking, and the game come across as somewhat of like a noir look because it was so black and white. Whereas in The Darkness 2, they've gone with a shell-shaded look, which allows them to expand a bit more on colour and make the game more colourful and interesting to look at. The game looks like a comic book, like its counterpart, the Darkness comic book. It's better looking than the first game, more interesting to look at, and much more fun to play through. Each character model has such a good look to them, like it's just, I don't know how to explain it. They're just really nice to look at. It's all very pretty and very good looking, and much better than the first game in my opinion. They should definitely stick to this style in the future. It's basically like the dark areas of Borderlands. That's the best way I can put it across. The only thing that there is to a downside of the graphics is that some places it can be really nice and really good, whereas in some places it can be really crap. I mean, there's some levels that don't look as great as the others, or some character models that don't look as good as the others, and particularly there's one mission at the end, depending on what choice you pick, where you get these couple of guns that just look like shit in my opinion. But that's the only downside. The rest of the game was pretty good, and really I'm just nitpicking. To be honest, I really love the graphics of this game, and I hope they keep it for the next game in the series and how many games they make, because we need to see more cel-shaded games in my opinion, because it's such a great style and this game used it to the perfect way it could. Now we move on to the best part of the game and the most important part of the game, the gameplay. The gameplay of The Darkness 2 has been severely changed from the first game. It's much more faster, much more fluid and much more fun, and this is why. The biggest and best change they made from the first game is quad wielding. In Darkness 2, you can use both tentacles from the darkness and your two guns at the same time. This allows for a variety of gameplay and a lot of fun throughout the hours you're going to play it. You can do a variety of things like pick up objects and throw them with the tentacle, or you can slash objects with the tentacle, or you can hit enemies with tentacle, pick up things and throw them, you know, stuff like that, poles, everything. Or you can use the other tentacle and you can pick up enemies and execute them. Now the executions are another big part of the game because they're the most fun to watch. Well, while picking up an enemy and pressing A, B, Y or X, you can do a variety of executions that allow you to have an extra bonus. Say if you press A and you execute someone, you get an extra bonus of health, and if you press X and execute someone, you get an extra bonus of ammo. So not only is it fun to do them, it's essential. To get all the different executions, you need to go to the upgrade tree, which is another different thing that they've added from the Darkness 1. You can now go to the upgrade tree at any point inside a level and change Jackie's abilities. You can buy new executions, you could buy extra health, you can buy extra powers, you can buy armor for Jackie. There's loads of stuff. It's immense actually, and this is one of the reasons why they have a new game plus mode. Once you beat it, you can upgrade Jackie to his fullest abilities and become the most powerful man on earth. Now the game's upgrade tree is much better, I think, than the way the Darkness 1 had it, where you upgrade it throughout the game. It enables you to feel powerful from the start, and that is the main thing about the gameplay, is that they make you feel powerful. Even from the beginning of the game, you feel like like a god basically, and that's why I love the gameplay. It's the most fun gameplay I've played for a long time, and I recommend that if you really like gameplay like this, where it's an arcadey style shooter, like kind of like Bulletstorm, because even in this game, when you shoot people or do different executions, it comes up with like a points meter and a name of the execution. Say if you do the wishbone, where you pull a guy in half by his legs, it comes up with wishbone plus 30. Now you can turn that off, but why would you want to? But anyway, that's what I'm saying. If you like an arcade shooter that has a sort of dark horror twist to it, I'm gonna say you have to buy this game. This game's gameplay is probably the best part of it, and a major upgrade from the first one, and I commend the game studio to develop this. Well done, and I hope to see more gameplay like this in the sequels. The one thing that I didn't like is that sometimes in the game you spend a moment or two in Jackie's mansion or in an asylum, which I told you about in the story section. These parts just seem to slow down the game because they're hub worlds and there isn't much to explore and much to find out anyway, and you can't even run in these segments, so it's all really slow and feels really sluggish. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with it, and at the moment I just feel like I'm nitpicking. Overall, I would say the gameplay was the best part of the game and was a blast to play. Now, last but not least, the sound. The sound in this game is a mixed bag. The one who voices Jackie is very good and comes across as a really good voice actor. He always engages you, especially in the loading screens and the monologues. He's very emotional and he comes across as he really likes playing Jackie. The voice of the Darkness, Mike Patton, you know, the heavy metal singer, he is very good as the Darkness. Once again, as he was in the first game, he's very intimidating and he does sound like a dark force. Other than that though, I can't say for the rest of the characters. They're all pretty average, or you know, just under average. Like for instance, all the mob workers that roam around your house and fight with you, they sound so stereotypical, like Mario type of Italian. But which isn't that much of a big problem for me, because I can get over that. I mean, loads of Italian games have voices like that. But the one thing that did get me was the Darkling that follows you around. He's voiced by he's supposed to sound English, and it's quite obvious that they don't know what English people sound like. I, for one, as you probably know by my name, I am English, and I don't sound like the Darkling one bit. We don't just run around saying bollocks and wanker all day. But that's just nitpicking. I mean, he's a funny character, but I hate that in American films where they get the voices wrong of the English people. Other than that, though, I mean, the voice of the villain Victor and the voice of Jenny, and yeah, they were quite good. They were the ones that borderlined average, because even though the other voices annoyed me, those voices kept me playing. The music of the game is very like ambience and very atmospheric. It's very dark and very brooding, and it can make you feel suspense, say when walking down a dark corridor. Especially in some of the darker parts of the game that are really gritty, the music really fits it. It amps up at the right bits and slows down at the same bits. The one thing that I would say that annoyed me was that with some of the characters, the enemies especially, whenever they're shouting at you, they seem to repeat a lot of lines. Say if they're going to rip your throat out, or shouting at you, calling your name, it seems to come up too many times, which isn't a problem because the game seems to have like a shit ton of enemies to throw at you, and I suppose having that many enemies, you're gonna have to, it's gonna get repetitive at some point, but that's no excuse, and that's still a little problem for me. But the one who voiced the Darkness and the one who voiced Jackie pretty much pulled it through for me, so the sound was okay, but it could have been better. My verdict on The Darkness 2 is this: if you want a game that's fun to play and the gameplay is solid, and you love The Darkness 1 and you love the comic and you just want to see the way the story plays out, I completely recommend you buy this game. The story may be short at around 6 hours or normal, but I completely recommend it because if you are a fan, you will love it, and you will definitely want to go through it again and collect all those collectibles and get every nook and cranny in the game. It's just one of them games that is fun to play over and over. But if you're looking for a game that has longevity and has excellent multiplayer, I don't recommend you get it. There's a reason why I didn't mention the multiplayer in this review, because I couldn't get into a game. The servers were so shit that I got into one and then it kept lagging out, or players kept lagging out, and then it said I had to wait for other players. It just wasn't fun. I understand there's a campaign to this, but I couldn't play it, so I wouldn't know. But in my opinion, the story is the best part of the game anyway, so don't come towards this thinking you're getting an excellent multiplayer shooter, because you're not. You're getting a good story, and you're getting a good 6 hours out of it. I completely recommend it though if you're a fan of The Darkness 1 or the comic. Just don't go into this thinking that there's more than there really is. So yeah, that was my review of The Darkness 2. If you liked it and you're watching this on Fanbytes, come over to my channel. I got loads more content, and subscribe. And if you're on my channel and you like the video, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.